Hello, my name's Tina Sohail, and I'm really here to talk to you a little bit about a CAPD, which is a dialysis that I do, a home dialysis service. I've been a kidney failure patient now for 3 years, hence having a tension cough in my stomach, which enhances me to do the dialysis 4 times a day at home. My experiences within the NHS, I can look at 2 points of view on it. I can look at it as a patient, and I can also look at it as a professional that works within the NHS. As a patient, I can say that I've had a lot of good and bad experiences within the NHS. And what I'd like to make a good point about is that when I first started doing this dialysis, me as a professional knew a lot of the background behind the dialysis, the treatment, the side effects, etc. But as a nobody, as a layperson who knows absolutely nothing about dialysis, I feel that the NHS has let down a lot of people by not actually giving them the information that they require. For example, what is dialysis? What does dialysis do to you as an individual? What side effects does it have? What impact does it have on your family? And what impact does it have on a daily basis? If I can tell you a little story, I was in hospital and I just had this operation, and this young man came up to see me and he said, "Oh, hello, are you Mickey's sister?" And I said, "Yeah, how do you know?" He says, "Well, for familiarity." He said, and he told me how worried he was that his sister's in hospital having this operation to go on dialysis. And I was nice to have a good chat with him, nice concerned young man. And I said, "Well, what are you doing here?" He said, "My dad, he's in the same ward. He's a bit further down. And he's had a fistula put in his arm, and he's been in this ward now for 2 months." And I said, "Oh, well, I hope he gets better." And he turned around and he says, "Well, since he's been on dialysis, he's gone worse." He says, because it confused him so much as to what is dialysis. He had no indication and idea what the dialysis was going to do to him. He got so severely depressed that he stopped speaking to his family. Stopped eating, stopped drinking, basically stopped communicating, because he wasn't actually sat down before he was having his treatment or whilst he was having his treatment and explained to him what the whole process was. Now, I was actually quite shocked when he told me that, and my professional head came on straight away. I said, "What about your counselling? What about people with interpreters? Did you not have any of that support within the NHS? For people like your father? I mean, if not for your father, they would have come and explained to the family, and you could have explained to your dad." He said nothing. Anyway, to cut long story short, I came out of hospital, and a few months later, my brother told me that his friend's father got so bad that he eventually died because he was so severely depressed of not knowing what kidney failure and what dialysis was all about because of his ethnicity and lack of communication. Now, for me, that is a big point within the NHS. I feel like there's so many people out there that are terminally ill that have no concept of what the illnesses are, no concept of what the medication is that they take, and no concept of, what is going to happen to them. So I feel that is a big point, that the NHS should have some sort of backup, should have some sort of support system and support network for the patients and for the patient's family. Because a lot of people, I've come from an educated family, and my own parents, they when they found out I had kidney failure, they buried their heads in the sand. It's as if, if we bury our heads in the sand, it'll go away. But it won't. It hasn't. It's had a massive impact on my life, and it's had a massive impact on my children's lives. But then you've got your good points as well. The nurses come out to see you. They come and do your regular bloods, come and do your regular adequacy tests. And they try and keep on top of things. But again, with so many patients, what can they do? They're always complaining about being understaffed. So for me, as a person that's knowledgeable about the drug side of it as well as the medical side of it, I tend to look after myself. And I try not to put pressure on the nurses unless they need to see me or unless my consultant needs to see me. But there's lots. And the bottom line is that I feel there's a lot of lack of communication within each department. For example, I go and have a blood transfusion done. When I go and have a blood transfusion done, the nurse is there, no, I'm a renal failure patient, but I have no idea as to how to do my dialysis. So again, it's quite frustrating for myself to think that, well, okay, I can do it. If I use the other arm, or if I can show a nurse how to do it. But what if this person who hasn't got any form of communication skills or language barriers? What will they do? How will they go through their treatment throughout the day? How will they have the blood transfusion, and how will they manage to do the dialysis on their own? A lot of it is training, I think. I mean, I've actually spoken to the company that supply my dialysis equipment to me, and I hope after I've had my transplant, when it comes and it arrives, I would like to work very closely with these companies and actually go out and see the patients and explain to them how to manage the dialysis at home, and tell them a little bit about the background of dialysis, let them know what it is that's actually happening to them. Little things like dialysis stands, fluid stand. The hospital say to you, and I think that's really disgusting, is that get a nail and bang it in the wall so you can hang your bags and use that. I said, what? I said, there's some people that can't come anywhere near, well, it's so difficult if you see the size of the bags to hang a bag up on the wall and then drain your fluids out and drain them in. I mean, my neighbour had to make me a stand, one of those drip stands. He had to make me one. But little things like that. Look at the elderly people. How can you get an old woman to come and put a bag on a wall, hang it on a hook on a wall, and then do a treatment which actually drains the person out, and then clip herself on and off, and then unhook the bag off the wall, and then get rid of the fluid? I mean, it's just not feasible. I mean, I've made adaptations to my own life by getting people to make me stands, or make me this and make me that. But what about all the other people that haven't got these sorts of facilities? What do? My point of view, I think the support that patients need, number one is the practical support, like i.e. drip stands. Very, very essential. Very essential. Like I said, if I showed you the size of the bag, you'd be shocked. Number two, emotional support. Which one thing I'm going to give credit to the dialysis team at Hope Hospital, where I am at. I have counselling with them. And the counselling support team have been absolutely fantastic. They've been absolutely brilliant. They've took me out of bad places throughout this illness and treatment so many times. But the main thing is the communication. The communication between the patients and the NHS staff. The staff need to tell the people that don't understand what dialysis is, what the treatment they're going through, what side effects the tablets have, what side effects the treatment has. They need to know. I mean, little things like food. What food? You have a dietitian there, and the dietitian will ask you what have you had to eat today. Monitor it down. But at the end of the day, there's certain things like tomatoes and red foods a patient can't eat. But you need to explain to the patient, why is it that you can't eat that? What's the reason behind it? You need to break it down, because not everyone is medically inclined. Not everyone knows the jargon, the medical jargon. You need to break it down to the patient for them to understand what it is that's actually happening to them, physically and mentally.